Cheers.
I'll read it that. Welcome.
Good start.
Welcome back to the lowest production valued podcast on the internet.
Surely not the lowest.
Yeah. Law-abiding criticism.
What about these?
Welcome back to Law-abiding criticism, lowest production podcast on the internet, where each episode, myself, Preston, my co-host Webby, we will critique, review, and criticize pieces of content, all whilst contributing not much ourselves. That's a good gist, eh? We'll workshop that.
Yeah, again.
Workshop that. Yep.
Yeah, one day we'll get something down.
We'll see. Welcome to our Christmas special.
Christmas special. Although
drop the ball on that one.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing something Christmas like a Christmas movie.
Well, that would take us a while to.
We probably wouldn't do that until like mid-February.
Yeah, we'll record it on Christmas and it'll be uploaded.
Because we're not very topical, are we?
No,
we could do a Christmas special, but we've got no time now.
We'll do one next one.
Next Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next Christmas.
We'll start planning it about November and then drop it.
Well, that just goes through our production schedule, isn't it? I mean, as we just found out, the last one we recorded was
5 weeks ago.
That's not bad. The gap between the first and second one was
7 weeks.
Longer. Who's counting?
Me. So it takes a while, though, doesn't it? It's not. I mean, people will look at this and think we just.
Well, that's the thing. We've still got a day.
But there's a lot of work goes into it. Not by me. You do. What do? Do you come here to the studio?
Yeah. So
I don't do anything.
Yeah.
I've been off all week on holiday yet again from work.
New mics. You were on holiday last time.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't. Yeah.
But new mics. Actually, they're pretty good.
You've been at work all week.
Yeah, I have. I'm a bit pink.
Just finished work today, whereas I've done absolutely nothing.
Well, rub it in.
Yep.
We've got a new stand. So we'll give a quick shout out to our honourable matchbox that we no longer need. So we'll put that up for auction.
That's retired.
Yeah, and the music stand that the camera usually goes on. That's
retired. Although we are still using the red boxes, which almost went in the bin this week, but were saved. So
I think we got a short tripod, but no, the whole idea is that we don't want to spend too much money on it. So I think we got everything. If this works, quality is good, get a good frame.
And we did go and choose that tripod together.
Yeah, well, not to say like that.
Like a.
Two bows, my kiss.
What? What was that?
It's an internet meme. It's fine. I'll be a short. There you go.
Was it? What was it? I missed it. 5 weeks since we sat here and did this before, where we did both your choices. If anyone's seen them, so it was in 4 parts, and we had the album Mayday Parade. I had a quiz. Really enjoyed it.
That was good.
Scored very highly.
You got a quiz or a bit for me this week?
No, I did think about that, but
I do all the ideas.
Well, I thought you might have a quiz again.
On myself.
No, you quiz me
on your favourite stuff.
Wow. How do you know it's my favourite stuff? It is. It is my favourite. Yeah. Well, you didn't even realise.
Yeah, you're right. What are we reviewing this week? Tell the fans.
So we ended up with, I had to make a decision as always. I am the decision maker. And so we couldn't do Gladiator because of his rules. And we didn't think about Christmas. So I decided, quite cleverly, that we would do Quadrophenia, the movie and the soundtrack, which you would think is not that clever. But when I tell you that the soundtrack came out before the movie by 5 years, your mind's blown, isn't it?
No, but that makes sense. It makes sense. I had, during my watching and listening time, there was multiple revelations.
Yeah.
And it all fit, it all fit together, and I'd get a small piece of puzzle. And by the end of it, by the time I listened to the album first, and then I watched the movie.
That's the way I said to you to do it.
And then I watched... Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I didn't listen.
Yeah.
And then I watched some behind-the-scenes things.
Okay.
And it was just everything clicked into place. I'm like, it was just... They pretty much reinforced what I was thinking. I'm like, it was on purpose.
Yeah. So, Pete Townsend from The Who.
Who?
Pete Townsend from The Who. You're not going to keep doing that, though, are you? That same gag. That's it. Done. Get that out of the way.
All right, then. Yeah.
Yeah. He wrote this.
So is he the singer? What's his position in the Who?
He is a guitarist. So there was 4 members of the Who.
Okay.
Kind of. Another clever bit. Do you know about the Quadrophenia, what it actually means?
Yeah, like split personalities.
Split personalities, yeah. So the way that he was a guitarist. He said it was the 4 personalities of the band.
Okay.
So that have you ever heard? Yes. Have you ever heard of Keith Moon? No. Okay. So he's the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
He famously probably one of the biggest rock stars of the day. I think he was one of the 27 Club.
The drummer.
Yeah.
Must have been pretty fucking good.
He was fantastic, but complete nut job. Absolute. His consumption of drugs is on another level. Like, he wrote the book. He famously took like an elephant tranquilizer and went on stage and just collapses on stage. And they have to get a member of the audience to play drums for him. There's some famous footage.
Yeah. Right.
And then he would set off bombs as well, like blow drum kits up. They famously always smashed all their equipment up as well. But he would set off bombs. He deafened one of the members of the band by setting off a bomb explosion on stage. He died, would you believe, of drug overdose. But
Get hit by a car.
yeah.
That's not laughing at his death.
I'm sure he was one of the... there was a load of them that died at 27.
Yeah, the 27 Club.
Yeah. He's one of those. But yeah. But imagine taking a tranquilizer that wouldn't drop an elephant as a human, and he's still fairly functional till he gets carried off, but surviving it as well. Yeah, there's some quite famous footage. So the Quadrophenia is actually on their 4 characters. So Roger Daltrey is... You ever heard of Roger Daltrey? So Roger Daltrey.
I'm going to make this easy. I haven't heard anyone from the Who.
Oh, okay. Well, Roger Daltrey, Pete Townsend, Entwistle and Moon are the 4 members of the band.
Right.
So it was based... Townsend wrote basically a rock opera. Mm-hmm. That's what he wrote. And so the album, which is, like I said to you, that is the original album from 1973.
Damn.
On vinyl. So that, obviously, the character there is Jimmy.
I'll put up a photo of it on the thing, yeah.
And then...
Which I will say, real quick, that album cover is some anime-ass album cover. That is a sick album cover. I love that. That's awesome. It looks fucking dope.
Well, it's I will go into it, but if you have the original 1970s, it actually came with a book. And the book... Well, you're not getting stuff like this anymore, are you? But there's all the lyrics.
I'm not touching that.
The book, and that's...
What are you saying?
Book.
Book?
Yeah.
Say it again.
The book.
Oh, he's saying, oh.
And that was what it was all about. But this is before...
The actual movie.
The actual movie. So there's famous bits in it that were all...
The trains? Yeah, right.
Yeah. And the bedroom and all of the rest of it. And that's actually... That's the Who leaving in a... and then Jimmy's there.
So he wrote this. Did he have intentions to make it into a movie?
Well, I don't know because it took obviously so long. But the funny thing is, the lad he was just a local mod, and he's dead now. I looked into it, but he was just a local mod who had a scooter, and obviously the Who approached him, and he became like the face of it, if you like. But yeah,
right, okay. So,
so 5 years later, the movie was made. Yeah. And the movie was made by, did you notice at the beginning, it was the Who Films?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they funded it.
Yeah, okay. So that was one of the things, like, I don't know how we're going to structure this podcast. We're going to talk about them together, or we're going to talk about the album and then the movie.
Whatever you like, however you want to do.
Because I feel like this one's a very particular one where I think we should just go back and forward.
Yeah. Like, I just thought it's clever because Normally, a movie comes out and the soundtrack follows the movie,
Yeah.
and then you go, "Oh well, I remember that from the movie and I like the soundtrack because of the movie." Whereas this was done obviously, and 5 years before somebody said, "Let's make a movie on the soundtrack."
Maybe we got the album first, because that's just the way I experienced it first.
And the album was first.
So the album I was listening to, now I took some notes, but probably the simple way to put it, because once again I listened to it to and from work in the car, so I got some pretty good experience with it.
I actually listened to it again from start to finish this week as well.
You what?
I listened to it again this week.
Oh.
From start to finish.
Okay.
Because it tells a story.
So, yeah, that's right. So 2 of the big things I got from this album in my notes. One of them was, I literally wrote down rock theatre opera.
Yeah, did you really?
Yeah.
And it is a rock. That's how he described it. It was a rock opera.
And so I listened to it, I got to work and I took notes down so I remembered it. Because I remember listening to it, there's some songs in there, like proper songs with lyrics and stuff like that. But a lot of just music with no lyrics or vocals. And even some of the vocals, it's because there's multiple key changes, timing changes in each song. Like, it doesn't end the way it sounds like a completely different song halfway through than it does at the start. And so I'm driving and I'm like, this is like, because I knew these movie and the album would have been related somehow, but I'm not too sure. But as I'm driving, I'm like, this sounds like a like I don't want to insult anyone. The Hoovians, is that what you call yourselves?
Hooverans?
Hoovians, is that Doctor Who? No, we should watch that. Really, I am. I was like, this sounds like a theatre production. Like, it sounds like a bunch of theatre nerds would get together and write these songs. Just the way it was, like, a bit technical. Again, rhythm changes, key changes, time changes in the music. I'm like, yeah, this sounds like a almost background music, and the length of the song as well.
Mm.
And then even some of the lyrics, like what was it, the "Cut My Hair" one?
Yeah,
that's one that stands out to me as well. And the other big thing I realized with this one, which I haven't fact checked, but I'm pretty confident in saying, that the sample for Bomb Funk MC's Freestyler is from the Quadrophenia or this album.
What?
You know the song Freestyler, dun, rock the microphone, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure, we can look it up now live if you want, that the sample was taken from the Quadrophenia song or one of the later songs in the album that sound the same. It's like, like, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know about that.
Google it for me right now, please.
That's a lot of Google.
Well, I don't. My phone's up there. Just Google it. We'll time process Safari it, and go.
I don't think that would be the case.
I'm pretty good here, even though I got an infection at the moment.
Wow, does it spread the infection?
I don't know. You want to listen to my earphones?
I don't.
Just go Safari and go. Was it Bomb Funk MC Freestyler sample The Who?
I think you're wrong.
And I haven't fact checked this, by the way.
Go on.
I'll do it.
We can pause on that, and I can get a beer. We had a slight pause there.
Yeah, we didn't talk about any samples at all, so don't worry about it. So, so the album itself, like I said, I thought this sounds like some sort of theatre kid production. Like, it sounds like it belongs to the movie. And then I started clicking, maybe it is the album to the movie itself, the soundtrack to the movie. There was a couple standout songs. Not stand out enough that I remember them, but there was some good ones where I'm like, oh, it's actually really good. And another revelation I had was Bellboy.
Yeah.
And then in the movie, he's like, Bellboy. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. So we'll cover that a bit as we cross it.
Well, you know the voice where he tells a story, like, through the song? and there's like a gruff voice comes on, and halfway through the song,
I don't remember it now.
you don't. Well, that was the drummer. He does that bit.
Oh, and he wrote it.
Well, I don't know whether he wrote it, but
Well,
he
didn't he say he wrote the album?
No, not the drummer didn't write the album.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Pete
the
Townsend
guitarist.
wrote the album.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's the notes I have from the album. Like I said, it was good.
Is it because the songs kind of told a story? They tell a story that you thought it was his theatre.
So I couldn't find the theme connecting them, as in like you're saying it tells a story. It's like, yeah, but it wasn't like a step-by-step conclusive story. They were all about their own individual things, but the bigger theme was like fitting in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, and that the haircut one, that definitely drove it home. Like, yeah, it's like about sort of being your own person and not just filing into the man sort of thing. But to be honest, it was more the actual technical music side of things. Where I'm like, this seems like some theatre kid production. Like it's not really. It's like a showpiece, art piece, which then frustrated me because I was like, but I don't get it. I'm like, what are they trying to tell me?
Right. Okay.
Like I knew it was the way it was for a reason, but I just couldn't pick it by itself just listening to the album. But I even sent you a message asking you, do I need to listen to the demo version?
Yeah.
On Spotify, it's available as it's like side 1, and then side 2 is the demos. I listened to the demos, and I quite liked them a bit more.
Okay.
Because it was less
production.
Yeah, it was more like raw. It sounded like there was one microphone with a bunch of people in the room, what they're playing all together at the same time, rather than recording bit by instrument. So I quite like the B side, whatever it is, to be honest. The music itself, again, the main one, Quadrophenia. Knowing what I know now, where you just told me about being split into 4 things, like it makes sense why it sounds like 4 different songs. You know what I mean? So it's like the theme of it is very, yeah. I didn't know the theme, so it's a bit conjointed for me. Misjointed. But now that I know the theme, disjointed.
Yeah.
But now you know the theme of it. It's meant to be that way.
Mm.
So, but not knowing why it's not that way, that sort of annoyed me.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have a better experience listening to it for the first time going, no, it's meant to be disjointed. But obviously you didn't tell me. You just said, make sure you listen to the album first. But again, I didn't listen to them. So.
Well, see, I never realised that there was, because I first saw the movie before I'd ever heard the album.
Okay.
So I first saw
this movie would be 81 or something like that?
No, it's 78.
78? Okay, right.
78. So I think I saw it, I was trying to remember, I was 12 years old when I saw it. And my friend had it on video. And he was going on about it. Video cassette. Like an early DVD. I actually have owned it on video, DVD, and Blu-ray.
Mate, you just chuck it on USB, you got all of them covered.
Yeah. So I saw the movie first, and then found the soundtrack. But this is obviously way pre-internet, so did it on Spotify and all the rest of it. Didn't actually realise that the album had been written first, obviously 5 years prior, and then another album came out, which is the soundtrack, which is this vinyl.
Right.
So the difference between this one is it has all the original songs, but it also has songs by other artists.
Yeah, right. So for
a proper soundtrack.
Like the movie itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I noticed watching the film, I was like, there's different artists in here.
Yes.
Right.
So there was like some James Brown, Night Train, and some other stuff in there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't realise that until years later when I was there's actually 2 versions of it.
So we don't have to get too personal if you don't want to, but this movie the album, and the movie inspire your love for the fuck yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
I want to get a fucking
a scooter.
Mac
Yeah, but
Twisties.
yeah, but they weren't. They were. I never had one until I came over here. So, because you got to go vintage and get the old
Right, yeah.
60s, 70s. What? So when the movie came out, obviously the movie is based in the 60s, but the movie never came out until 78.
Right, yeah.
That inspired a mod revival back in the UK.
Right. So by the time the movie came out, it's like back on the up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So all of those people then went out. It was a new generation because obviously the mods were in the 60s, which is how they're portrayed in the film. But then in the late 70s, when the movie came out, all of these new mods suddenly appeared because of the movie.
Right.
And so there was a mod revival, and so all the scooters got bought again or dusted off, and Parkers came out, and it all started again. And it's still there is still a mod scene to this day.
Yeah,
certainly all over the world. Obviously still massive in the UK, but like the Japanese are into it, and they're really into it. When you look at their stuff, like their scooters are immaculate, their clothes.
Well, actually saw Jerry Seinfeld does a series like comedians in cars getting coffee. He did an episode where he had Lambrettas, and him and his host, his guest for the show, were just rocking around on the Lambrettas and stuff. And I was like, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
big thing. Just
it's quite big in Asia. They have massive,
convenient,
like mods Maydays, and there's hundreds of them. They're like out on their scooters with their girlfriends on the back, all dressed up in 60s clothing. They've got those old helmets and all that, and it's like, and their bands all play the music as well, and they all dance, and it's really good. Yeah.
So, pardon me. So the album itself, then. So you listened to it this week as well?
Yep. Yeah, I did. Yeah, from start to finish.
Is it? When was the last time you listened to this album before this week? When you were 12?
No. Probably it's again, Quadrophenia is. We always talk about it. My top 5. Quadrophenia is in my top 5.
Which one?
Oh, the actual album, not the soundtrack.
Oh, so the album?
Yeah.
What number? You said top 5. What number?
Well, I can't.
You roasted me for having a revolving top 5. So what is it?
No, I said I can't put them in any order. There is a top 5. Definitely maybe is in there. Quadrophenia is in there. I won't reveal the others yet, but that is a made in stone top 5.
But in no particular order.
In no particular order, no. Too hard.
I'm pretty sure you roasted me for that.
But I don't think so. We could go back and look at it. But yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
So, but do you like it because it's association with the movie, or do you think it can stand alone?
I do like The Who. Anyway, I like... you were so tempted to say it again, weren't you?
Yeah,
I saw your face. You were like, oh, this is comedy gold.
Let that one slip.
I like a lot of Who songs. Obviously, when The Who came... The funny thing is, with this, it's not typically mod music.
Okay.
So, because it is quite rock, which is a bit of a weird thing.
What's mod music?
Well, when they were recording this in the 70s, they looked more like rockers than they did mods. But in the 60s, when The Who came out, they were very much a mod band. There's pictures of them. They've all got the mod haircut, the mod Target clothing. They were very much they're actually called the High Numbers originally. And
The Who?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So they were the High Numbers originally, and they were very much like boy bands of the day, like the Beatles, and the Small Faces were a mod band. And obviously there was a market for mods buying records, so they were kind of pigeonholed into this. Whoever managed them went have these haircuts, wear these clothes.
That's your brand. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Small Faces. The Small Faces were a massive. Well, they were created as well. They were a mod band.
Right.
Um,
Can I be honest with you? I know the Who is a band,
mm,
but like, what's their big song or their big album? What's the one thing that if they're known for one, what is it? Because I couldn't tell you what they. If you played me a Who song or not a Who song, I wouldn't be able to tell you who if it's them or not.
the Seeker, Pinball Wizard. Do you know Pinball Wizard? That was another rock opera that he wrote. Tommy, the Pinball Wizard.
Is that we'll stick with Seeker?
Yeah, the Seeker. You know the Seeker.
No.
Do you used to watch CSI?
Yeah.
What's the music
The
from
intro
that?
is it the intro song?
What's the intro song?
Ding ding ding. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the more you know. That's actually pretty cool. When the glasses come on. Yeah.
My Generation.
Talking about My Generation. That's in the movie, isn't
They all jumping around to the record.
it?
Yeah.
Is that the Who?
That's the Who.
Oh, okay.
And on the TV, you know when he's wearing his wet
Wait,
jeans?
So the Who, the Levi's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Who on the TV.
Oh, okay. So the Who exists in this universe, but they wrote the. Well, this is an Inception level. This is a Christopher Nolan film. You don't get that. It's fine.
No.
I'm clever that.
No. Do your Who gag again.
Who? Nah.
Ah.
Okay, that's okay.